Continue. It says a generational ship would carry many thousands of inhabitants, generations upon generations of spacefarers, and be durable enough to survive the rigors of space over millennium. Such a ship would have to be entirely self-sustaining, providing energy, food, air, and water for everyone on board, and have an extraordinarily reliable system that could be maintained exclusively by the ship's inhabitants over long periods of time. The crew would essentially be families with children born on board. Trade, that's a spirit. Trade to replace their grandparents and with Slovakia, their parents and grandparents in the maintaining and piloting the ship as the former get old and die. And this is Esau's imagination. This motherfucker really don't expect to have to pay for, any of your judgments. You just go right off a ticket. When you take the time to really sit and meditate on that, like, these motherfuckers say. So, as far fetched as motherfuckers think Star Trek is, they literally showing you like, no, this is what we gonna run. We gonna bring all the nations together. Then we gonna go to other. That's how fucking what's the word prideful that is. You know what I'm saying? And then to show you how really fucked up he is, because Esau can't even figure everything out on the planet Earth. How the fuck you gonna just take over the solar? That's what Star Trek really is. We're exploring new worlds. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you go look at into Gene Roddenberry. You know what I mean? He's a motherfucking Mason. You know what I'm saying? But, people, what the brother from Men of Valor always like to say, it's a conspiracy theory. he cracked me up when he do that. Because you got some dumbass people sitting there. It goes beyond a conspiracy. I'm going to buy this book. It says, the quotes of the New World Order. So, it's a couple scriptures, like you could think of the Tower of Babel. But, as far as New World Order, I think I did a video, or I was going to do a video, but long story short, you got these politicians and people of renown that's actually made statements in the past. And it's a book that I was going to buy that actually goes into that. Like, it's just like a compilation of all these different people speaking on, how we need a new world order. Says these arcs would have to deal with major biological, social, and moral quandaries, especially in relation to self-worth, government, and purpose. The original pioneering generation will not live to see their mission accomplished, and the intermediate generations will be destined to live and die in transit without seeing tangible results for their efforts. How might this middle child generation feel about and cope with their forced existence on such a chip? Perhaps a better option. Maybe that's why they want to put that chip in your ass. You're more controllable with that chip in you. Perhaps a better option to combat this issue would be to put most or all of the crew into hibernation or suspended animation aboard sleeper ships. That way, all their inhabitants will survive to the end of the journey. We could also design an embryo-carrying interstellar ship which would transport human embryos or DNA in a frozen or dormant state to the destination world. And the funny part is, everything's the will of the Most High, or, because He is all things. At the end of the day, made me think about, we had a hospital here, world-renowned, University Hospital. They did that embryo thing, and come to find out something happened where it malfunctioned, and all these people's embryos died. So, at the end of the day, no matter what, man, I ain't gonna even say man, because, at the end of the day, these is Esau's wicked ass devices. No matter what Esau tries to come up with to try and escape this judgment, you ain't gonna escape it. You get what I'm saying? That there are obvious issues with this method in terms of birthing and raising these individuals. So ships allowing for trips with duration comparable to a human lifetime would be preferable. The theoretical physicist Freeman Dyson conceptualized such a vessel, a Project Orion ship propelled by nuclear explosions, powered by nuclear fusion or fission. Finally, we could construct ships driven by laser-powered beams from the solar system. Stephen Hawking, Yuri Milner, and Mark Zuckerberg are championing such a concept called breakthrough starshot. That's a spirit, because, I would never knew this. And we all know that Stephen Hawking is dead. So, Damn, so he must have just died, huh? Yeah, it might have been just 2018. Um, Breakthrough Starshot, a project to build the prototype for a tiny light-propelled robotic spacecraft capable of interstellar travel with the ability to make the journey to Alpha Centauri. They are planned to be ready for launch in under 20 years. I guess Stephen Hawkins ain't gonna get to see that with her. The Starshot the Starshot spacecraft will consist of a wafer-sized ship attached to a super thin sail. What's that scripture making me think about? What it said the rich man tried to. I know it's in the New Testament. It was one of the parables of Yahushua. And he said how the rich man wanted to build onto his existing land, and he was like, you know, he said, so nah, basically he said, the Lord, he didn't know that he was going to be required. And the Lord said, thou require, Salakia, let me find it real quick. Salakia, this is the scripture because it made me think about that when they mentioned Stephen Hawkins. And I know Stephen Hawkins just passed. It says, you got to start at 16, Luke 12 and 16. He spake a parable unto them, saying, the round of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. Verse 17, and he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do, because I have no room where to bestow my fruits? Verse 18, and he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. So he already was prosperous, but he looking at it like the future. You know what I mean? Like, well, I'm gonna keep on living and I'm gonna keep on prospering. So he said, I'm gonna tear down the space I got and build a bigger space so I can put all my everything that I yielded. Verse 19, and I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. He said, so afterwards, after he did accomplish all this, he's going to sit back and he's going to be, yeah. He said, but, verse 20, but Yahweh said unto him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then Salaki, then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So he said, who that you done, all this that you, and saved up. Who was that going to now? That's why Solomon had made the statement about how everything is vanity. I believe it's a scripture. He said how a man workers, to obtain something along this line. He said to obtain riches or whatever, and that you got to leave it to another. You know what I mean? That didn't put forth your effort. I mean, shit. Perfect example. Look at you know although David established the kingdom and left it to Solomon, Solomon, left an intact kingdom. Well, that was all through the spirit anyway. Remember, Messiah, Salakia, the Most High said that he was going to rend the kingdom from them. So that was all established back in David line. Bible deep, man. But it just made me think about it listening to reading that scene about Stephen Hawkins. They say they had something, he prepared thinking that he going to, the Most High already took you out. So lucky. I just did a little real quick search. Yeah, he died last year, March 14th of last year. That's ill because I had a situation happen on March 14th of this year. Um, so pretty much, it says Zuckerberg champions such a concept called Breakthrough Starshot, a project to build a prototype for a tiny light-propelled robotic spacecraft. Oh, I read all that. To journey to Alpha Centauri. They are planned to be ready in the next 20 years. The Starshot spacecraft will consist of a water-sized chip attached to a super thin sail. This paired duo will be launched to space aboard a mothership and then propelled to the stars at up to 20% the speed of light by laser beams from a high altitude facility on Earth. At such speeds, it would take them a further 20 years to reach Alpha Centauri, perhaps waiting for our technology to catch up with our cosmic desires. That's the spirit. Perhaps waiting for our technology to catch up with our desires or our cosmic desires isn't the only option. What if science fiction has already found the answer? We could follow the space travel ethos of movies such as Contact and Instellar and simply find a wormhole. However unlikely it might seem, We can not entirely discount the theoretical possibility of skipping throughout the galaxy at a whim via wormhole conduits. However, we currently have no proof that this method will actually work. Should we ever indeed discover a wormhole or be remotely safe for a squishy, fragile life form such as ourselves? And then you got the different subtitles. It's talking about the human fertility, and at the end of the day, I just mentioned about the Van Allen belt. That radiation, they don't have anything that can actually, withstand that amount of radiation. We ain't even talking about, and we talking about the craft itself. So we ain't going into the actual human being. So with that, it's a futile attempt and of Esau and his vain imaginations. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I said, that's why Scripture said, "Oh Jacob, thy worm," and Jacob was considered God. You know what I mean? Yasharallah, Prince of the Power. You know what I mean? Like, so if the Prince of the Power is considered worms, what do you think the heathen is? Like, this is just like I said of Esau's vain imagination. It's like I said, I pretty much read this whole book. I'll probably do one more chapter out of here, and then I'm done with this. I got an even better one though, but I'll let you know, Lord will, Adawan Ratazab, if I'm able to bring it out. I'll let you know at that time what it's going into. So with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory. Call halal Allah Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Rachako Das Bakatah. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and sincerity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwaf and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom to the Confusion of Faith brethren, join on to our ranks, as well as those join on to our ranks. Shalom to all the men that sincerely believe in this truth, from the elder apostles on down, risking their lives, freedom to do this work. Pray for you all. Continue to work, continue to fight. Shalom, shalom, and DTA to this wicked ass place. Abad Babal.